Star powers is an idea I covered in a previous video. Link is in the description below and at the end of the video, so be sure to check it out. Let's get right into it. Mega Minion, Raging Rush. The Mega Minion will charge after 3.5 tiles, doubling damage and movement speed. This star power would give the Mega Minion a dash, much like the Prince or Ram Rider. Upon impact, the damage would be doubled. This would make the Mega Minion slightly more effective on defense, and a lot scarier on offense, as it would force a quicker reaction. Electro Spirit, Super Circuit. Electro Spirit chains +1 enemies, going from a max of 9 to a max of 10. With this star power, the Electro Spirit would be capable of clipping one more unit with its chain attack. Although this does not seem to provide much value, and will ultimately seldom ever make an impact, against mass swarms, it will be able to tick them down and briefly slow more of them down, making it easier for your Princess Tower to finish the job. Royal Giant, Collision Catastrophe. Each hit from the Royal Giant will slow down the enemy building or tower by 35% for 0.5 seconds. I'm not quite sure where I got the idea for the star power. Maybe it's that. Anyway, this star power would slightly slow down the attack speed and other functions of various buildings attacked by the Royal Giant. This will certainly hinder their ability to defend or do their prescribed function, whether it's generating elixir, spawning units, defending, whatever. Goblin Cage, finally free. Goblin Brawler will be enraged for the first 5 seconds after escaping the cage. This star power will make the Goblin Brawler much more effective on defense for a short amount of time. And it makes sense. The Goblin Brawler's angry. He is in prison. However, once he's free, a little bit of that anger, or rage, rather, it still presides in him. So, I put 2 and 2 together and invented this. Firecracker. 6th Shrapnel. The Firecracker's attack splits into 5 pieces of shrapnel, each doing 1/5 of the damage of the parent projectile. This star power makes the parent projectile split into 6 pieces. It will not make each piece do 1/6 of the parent damage. It will still remain 1/5, nor will increase the parent damage by 20%. It will simply add a 6th piece of shrapnel that will deal equal damage as the Firecracker's level. Goblin Drill, Mining Mayhem. Goblin Drill's movement speed underground is increased by 33%, making it as fast as the miner. The Goblin Drill is rather slow when tunneling its way through the arena. I understand that it has a spawn damage and kill skeletons, so you cannot preemptively defend it as well as, say, the miner. But that does not justify its slow movement speed. I think this would be a great ability for the drill, especially after nerfing its death spawn from 3 to 2. This star power does make the speed of the miner and drill equal. However, both have different animations for their travel, and so you'd still be able to tell the two apart. Skeleton King, Power of the Dead. For each collected soul, the Skeleton King's damage per hit is increased by 2.5%, for a max of plus 35% per hit. Despite his recent damage buff, the Skeleton King is still the worst champion. He can be a decent defensive option, but offensively he's just obliterated by air or splash of any type. Increasing his damage will help him fend for himself a little bit better, especially when on enemy territory, and especially against Valkyrie and other mid-tanky units. And what better way to increase his damage than make it correlate to the bar above his head? He summons 6 with none, he summons 20 with max. That is 14 souls that go into the bar. Each one has 2.5, that is 35%. Executioner, Twisting Throw. Executioner's range is increased by +1 tile, going from 4.5 to 5.5 tiles. So I looked this up on the Clash Royale wiki, and it says the Executioner's range is 4.5 tiles. His axe throw has a range of 6.5 tiles. and the axe itself has a 1-tile radius, so his effective reach is 7.5 tiles. With this star power, the Executioner's range is increased to 5.5. It does not add anything else. Ultimately, the Executioner would then be able to attack from further away, even though his axe would still reach the same as it does already. Bowler. Ballistic Boulder. Boulder's attack does plus 40% damage to crown towers. A while back, the Clash Royale dev team tinkered with the idea of making the bowler deal more damage to the crown towers. I like the idea, as it would cause the bowler to be played more offensively rather than the oppressive defense it tends to be. Miner. Sharpened Spade. Miner's crown tower damage is increased by 5%, going from 30% to 35% of his full damage. On February 3rd in 2020, a balance update decreased the miner's crown tower damage from 40% to 35% of the full damage. Then again, on April 8th, 2020, a balance update decreased the miner's crown tower damage yet again from 35% to down to 30% of the full damage. Miner should deal a reduced amount of damage to crown towers, but 30% is almost insultingly low. And so with this star power, the April 8th nerf is reverted. It would go back up to 35% of the full damage. Electro Giant. Loosened Lightning. The Electro Giant's radius is increased by 0.5 tiles, going from 3 tiles to 3.5 tiles. This star power increases the radius of the Electro Giant slightly. This will cause the Electro Giant to be able to strike back at all the dragons, Baby, Inferno, Electro, and Skeleton. And other than that, it would not change many interactions at all. Other ones are 3 tiles and already in the radius, or are 4 and would not be in the radius regardless. But that doesn't even matter, because every single Electro Giant player uses Tornado. You people are what's wrong with this game. Ice Golem. Packed Snow. The Ice Golem's health is increased by 15%. The Ice Golem is a distraction troop that is rather high in hit points for its elixir cost. Despite his high hit points, he still melts relatively quickly, and so with this star power, he can distract for just a little bit longer. Now, I do not know if 15% is too much or not enough. I mean, I'm not the balancing team for the game, and honestly, all this stuff, I'll leave to them. I come up with the ideas. They make sure it works properly. Earthquake. Seismic Shake. The Earthquake's slowdown effect is increased by 15%, going from 50% to 65%. This star power makes the Earthquake a little bit more versatile in regards to slowing enemies down. This makes the Earthquake just the slightest bit better, even if your opponent has no buildings. Because if your opponent has no buildings, the Earthquake is pretty useless. Sure, it still does good damage to crown towers, but other than that, how often are you really going to use it in that type of matchup? With this star power, there'd be a little bit more incentive to use it defensively or offensively, depending how your deck works. Elixir Collector. Firm Foundation. The Elixir Collector's health is increased by 25%. The Elixir Collector is a pretty trash card. Now, I know I could make it better by making it generate more elixir or appear in the starting hand again, but there's a reason neither of those have been added. That would probably be broken. So I decided to take a different route and give it a little more health, making it be able to withstand spells and enemy units better, so that way I can still generate more elixir over time in the long run. I believe this would be a great buff to the Collector. However, I still don't know if it would make it viable or not. And with that being said, be sure to subscribe. Like the video if you enjoyed, share, and be sure to leave your star power ideas and what you would change to the star power ideas I have in the comments below. See you next time.